Good morning.
Morning.
How you doing? You
Yeah,
okay?
good man, good man.
Good, good. Oh, I love how crisp I look in light. It's lovely. Um,
It
although I'm
does
gonna
look
have to keep
completely
doing
different,
this.
proper
I'm gonna have to
focused.
keep,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna have to keep doing this the whole time. But it's all right. It's better than it was before.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, yeah. How's everything going with you? How's training been going?
Good man, good man. It's been a good week actually. So I'm now 9 weeks out from my next event. So basically, my training focus now is moving towards that. So it's kind of I had those few weeks after the marathon where it's just kind of keeping my body moving, that sort of thing. Now it's a case of actually sort of focusing down and prepping for an event. So again, really starting this week, my training has a little bit more focus to it, a little bit more kind of, as I keep saying, sort of training to the test. So my strength as it is isn't really going to change too much, but it's the running cycle that will kind of change a little bit. The distance I need to be good at is a 21k, so half marathon. But what I'll start doing with my running is not just getting good at running a 21k, is get good at that kind of compromised running. So that sort of broken running, because obviously with obstacle course racing, you run, you hit an obstacle, you run, and so on and so on. And it's not so much that the obstacles are a struggle. It's more a case of getting into that breaking the rhythm type thing. Yeah, because over a course of a 21k, there'll be 30 obstacles. So what I'm kind of looking to do is get to the point where I'm comfortable getting into my stride, breaking my stride to do something else, and then getting back into it, that kind of thing. So really sort of like I say, sort of training for the test. So it's beginning to just build up that pattern of things now, and really sort of work towards that end goal. Like I say, the strength part itself takes care of all the obstacles. So I'm not really too worried about that. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah,
And we've got sunshine. So going out and running in the sunshine is so much better than going out and running in the wind and rain.
Yeah, it has been really lovely. I don't know if you wanted to go through any of the obstacles that you are going to be doing, because obviously you said you wanted to have a chat about some of them. I don't know if you wanted to do any of that on here. I know you've got a list of some of them.
Yeah, so I think basically the obstacles, they get split really into, I would say probably 3, possibly 4 camps. One of the camps is just there's almost no point in it being there. It's like it's there to break your running. Yeah. So I guess for some people it might slow them down. But it's very much a case of like, I don't know, it's like a pyramid cargo net. You literally climb up it, climb down it. Like I feel like anyone should be able to do that kind of thing. And that's purely there to break the rhythm of your running. The other obstacles I would say are broken up into lifts. And by lifts, I kind of mean sort of a combo of lifts and carries. So there'll be pick up an Atlas stone, run with that. Sandbag carries, run with those. Water jugs, one in each hand, run with those. So it's very much kind of lifts and farmers carry type things. There's pure strength things like rope climbs. Yeah. That kind of thing. So kind of obviously there is technique to rope climb, but for a lot of people, they're just going to strength their way through it and use their arms all the way through. There's the overhead stuff. So monkey bars, ring to ring, and there's lots of different combinations of those. And then there's the more kind of skill-based things, which is what we kind of talked about before a little bit, which is those kind of obstacles where you've got like the kind of the climbing holds. You've got to, I don't know, climb vertically, climb horizontally, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's just really kind of getting good at all of those things. For me, like I say, those kind of ones at the beginning, the cargo net, for example, is like you don't even sort of think about those sort of things.
Yeah. That's like a kid's play park.
Yeah,
like,
my kids would probably actually be over it faster than I would.
Yeah.
It is literally scramble up, scramble down. I mean, there are techniques to it because it is quite high. So
it's about efficiency, I guess. You want to be efficient with it. But
like on the way down, for example, people that are confident will row down it. They'll forward row down it. Things like that.
Sweet.
Process. Yeah,
I'd be worried about that because I'd be worried about getting like a leg or my head.
Yeah. It's really easy to miss time. What you basically need to do is go up, because it's obviously up, down.
Yeah.
Once you hit the top, it's literally over and then roll again. And it's purely a confidence thing. Like you say, it is a case of getting tucked in and things
I think
like that.
rolling sideways, like horizontally, would make more sense, surely, like tumbling down that way.
The only thing is you'll have more rows.
True.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, these are just techniques that people use. It's like, for example, there are things like a barbed wire crawl. And again, this is one of those obstacles that I kind of just see as it's there and everyone should be able to do it. But you'll see some people scrambling through as low as they can get. You'll see some people with their butt in the air, just, I don't care, I'm just going to take the cuts. You'll see other people doing exactly what you've just said. They'll go sideways and row their way through it.
Barbed wire is a bitch to get out of, though.
Yeah, you get caught.
Really can. Well, you get caught in a barb. You get caught in barb. I mean, that's kind of what it's for, right? So, like, if you get caught up in it, it's horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of guys actually run Spartan races topless for that reason, so they don't get a clothes caught up in it and things like that. Or they'll get to that and then throw their top off and things like that.
Yeah,
it's
like skin
yeah.
instead.
It's like for me personally, I just wear a top that I don't care about damaging.
Yeah, I mean, you would just wear clothes. You wouldn't really. You're not going to be bringing your Louis bag and your fucking Gucci fucking sliders to go Spartan racing.
No,
that would be nuts. Yeah.
So yeah, I think really the obstacles that I think probably are quite, I don't know, the ones that people get stuck on the most are the basic obstacles. So by the basic obstacles, I mean things like monkey bars. People take them for granted that they actually can be quite difficult because generally they're staggered and they're fat bars. So one high, one low, this kind of thing. What they've done this year is they've introduced more of a multi-rig. So it'll be monkey bar into like rings, into like the cheese boards. You've seen those? Like
They look like big slabs of Leodama.
You'll see those at like the ninja gyms and things like that. So they've introduced those. Those are horrible. Those are horrible to negotiate your way around. They're probably one of my slowest.
Yeah, they are. They're horrible. They're really horrible.
And it's not so much that it's like I'm worried about falling off. It's just that they're clumsy.
They're tedious. Yeah, there's no this is not really like a super efficient way of doing it because they swing, right? So you're constantly trying to they are horrible. Yeah.
And you will have done that. It's not normally the first thing in that kind of row. It's normally like you might have monkey barred into rings into that. So you're already a little bit kind of pumped from holding on to the other things. The other thing they've introduced this year, which will tie into the things you do, is hanging ropes about this kind of depth, about a foot. So swing from rope to rope. So there's a lot of grip work this year that I'm going to need to kind of just work on over the coming months. And that kind of thing. So yeah, it is a huge combo. There's always going to be on the day as well something you just didn't know. They always throw something in, something random. But yeah, I think most of them I've generally got covered just in my day-to-day training.
No, sounds like it. To be fair, that does sound all right. It's just trying to do things as efficiently as possible, I guess. Really,
most of it is about efficiency. Yeah, like you'll see, like the top end guys, the elite guys, can get through like monkey bars in seconds. It's literally off the ground, monkey bar, and they'll be skipping rungs and they'll be doing it as quickly as possible and getting through as quickly as possible. Whereas you see guys doing like the open heats where it's like get to the obstacle, take 30-second pause, compose myself, get on it. And like, so the differences are huge from literally seconds through to 3 or 4 minutes to get through, them. Obviously, like you say, the more efficient you are, the quicker you get through it. And then you can save 20 minutes over the course of a race, which is huge if you're competing. You're not just finish. That kind of thing. So yeah, do you know what? I'm just looking forward to it. It's going to be in the middle of August. It's going to be hot. It's going to be sunny. So
it's going to be a good day. Good day.
But it's quite good though, because on the build up to that, I do have a trail race in the first weekend of July up on the Cotswolds. And for me, it's just like that's kind of like almost train through it. It'll be part of my training. It's only like 13K. So it's just a case of kind of like using that as like a mini kind of goal halfway through to make sure my running's on point. But yeah, just train through that one into the next event, I think. So,
yeah, cool. Nice.
How about yourself?
It's not been too bad. I did another outdoor bouldering session on Saturday. I went to Hambrook on my own, which I made a video obviously and uploaded that to the channel. It was good. I managed to push 2 grades higher than I'd had done before outside. The thing is, I did a grade that is this, like similar to what I'd be working indoors anyway. So I've kind of just matched myself essentially. But like grades are a lot more stiff outdoors than they are indoors. Yeah, typical, say like a V4 indoors is a lot harder outdoors, generally speaking. But it's a lot more satisfying doing it outdoors for something like it. There's just an element of like, yeah, I don't know, things aren't as carved out for you as they are indoors. Like we've spoken about this before in terms of, it's not like here's the route to do it, exactly where your feet are going to go. Like you have to figure all that stuff out. Like, especially more so with the handholds can be a little bit more self-explanatory, especially in places like that, because there's generally leftover chalk from other people being there.
Yeah.
But the feet, you do just totally have to figure it out for yourself. Like there's no indication of where your feet are meant to go, and your feet is like, so people underestimate how important feet are in climbing. Because generally, you're looking up, you're looking where your hands are going, and people don't. I always, whenever I take anyone climbing, at least for the first time or first few times, I'm always just saying like, sort your feet out first. Like, don't go up until you've sorted your feet out. So sorting out feet is a completely different ball game that you really have to figure out a lot more. But it does, and that makes it a lot more rewarding. I went climbing last night, and within like 20 minutes, I don't know what I've done to my shoulder. I don't know how bad of an injury it is, but I did like I was pulling around the side of a boulder to go reach far for like a tiny hold, and I felt a pop, so which is never good. I did continue climbing for another 2 hours afterwards. It was one of those ones where like I took 10 minutes, wait to see how it felt. It's like, feels all right. But as I say, I did climb for like 2 hours afterwards, and it wasn't that bad. It's just I've woken up this morning, and obviously now it really hurts.
Yes.
But it's kind of in my head, I'm kind of like, it's not one of those injuries where you say you do something and then immediately you're out for the count. I did continue on afterwards, so which obviously probably shouldn't have done, but I was there and I was meeting someone in half an hour, so I was like, screw it, I'm just going to carry on. So I was just like, screw it, and I can work through it. And I was all, it takes me ages to drive there. I'm not just going to waste a session, right? So I did carry on. I think it's also because sleeping, because I slept on that side some point during the night, at least for a few hours. That's probably why it feels really horrible this morning. It's probably now really inflamed. Which is why it feels a bit horrible. So like moving it in certain angles, I can really feel it. It's sort of like on the front side, somewhere deep in there. I'm not actually entirely sure what happened. But I'm hoping, as I said, it's not one of those injuries where, like, say, you pull something like, and then you can't physically then do that activity. It was a case of me doing something and I could still carry on doing the activity, but still
how's the mobility on it this morning?
So I can move it in every direction. Like it's fine. It's just sore. Like I can feel it like pulling and feeling a bit horrible. It just feels uncomfortable. It's more uncomfortable. So that's what I mean. So I don't think it's one of those things it's not going to take me out completely. I'm meant to be training tomorrow, but I'm not going to do any arm stuff. I'll just do my leg stuff, like my Bulgarians and my plyometrics and stuff. And I'll just cut all the arm stuff out. I'm meant to be then going climbing on Friday morning. I'm meant to be taking a friend for their first time, so I'm thinking, because I'm a member anyway, I don't have to pay to get in. I'm getting them in for free, so I might as well just still go. See how the shoulder feels, and more just I'm just going to treat it as a session where I'm showing them stuff more. I'm not necessarily going to push myself through the paces. And then during the week, on the weekend, I'm going to spend a whole weekend working, so I won't be doing any training. So I'll have 2 days off in that respect. So hopefully by Monday, if I really take it easy, it should probably be all right.
Kind of sounds like the right things to do. Just work around it and then minimize
see what exactly, and then just see what happens, because I'll be resting a lot just without having anyway. So I hopefully and then just ease back into things really.
That's exactly what I would do with something like that. Yourself if it's you know your body, and yourself if it's badly damaged or if it's just a tweak.
I think I've tweaked it. I think I've just tweaked it. That's the thing.
And then you can generally work around that. Like you say, you just focus on your lower body for a few days. You focus on something different. Go through the motions of your climbing. And that
I'll just do stuff that, is easy and not very explosive and nothing crazy. I'll just do really basic stuff. I'm not going to go like really push myself and go to my limit. And as I say, I did climb for 2 hours last night and it didn't feel any worse. It's not like I carried on climbing and it kept going worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. If anything, I could hardly feel it. So
Brilliant.
it's just this morning, I think, because I've slept on it all night in a really awkward way. And obviously it's now, and obviously inflammation takes a while to kick in anyway.
100%.
Like damage takes a while to happen. So I think it's just like, it's just one of those. This morning I've just woken up and it's really.
That is the thing as well. I think with anything, if you're doing something repetitively or consistently, there are going to be times where you're sore or you're tweaked or you're injured to some degree. It's like the whole fighting thing. It's kind of like there's very rarely a fighter that goes into the ring or the cage that is at 100%. There's always something.
Yeah, right.
It's usually something small. It's usually something like that isn't going to affect them at all. And once the adrenaline kicks in, that's it. But it's the same if you're consistently lifting or you're consistently doing a sport. It's like there's never a time where I think we're ever just like everything is 100%.
Yeah, right.
That's it. It's like you're either broken down from training or you've got little tweaks like you're sort of saying now, or something just doesn't quite feel right. And I think it's a huge part of that is just understanding, is this something I can work with? Can I work around this? Like you say, I'll just focus on my lower body for a few days or whatever it might be. Or am I seriously injured? Like there is a huge difference. So obviously when you're talking about things, I don't know, you dislocate something or you've broken something. It's like, these are serious injuries. Yeah. And of course, in between there are obviously lots of things in between tears and so on and so on. So there's obviously plenty of other things you could do. Like, I'm not suggesting for 1 minute you wait until something's broken, but there is this kind of huge, just this large sliding scale of what an injury looks like from the minor through to the major. And absolutely, when you're down on that kind of minor, which we spend a lot of our time in, let's be fair, something like, then you just have to learn to live with it and work around it. Like, great example of that was for me yesterday. I was supposed to have done 20 times 40-second intervals, like at sprint pace, and it's just straight away I was just like, after my warm-up I was like, do you know what, that my IT bands are painful. It's just kind of like everything doesn't feel right today. So I'll just continue this run on a nice, gentle, soft pace recovery run. I'll wait till Thursday when I know that things are just going to be a little bit more recovered and they're going to feel a little bit better. And I know why they felt like that. It's because the day before I did squat, I did deadlifts, I did a circuit that contained thrusters and things like that. So it's very much kind of like it's a knock on from the previous session. Instead of just taking that fatigue and going into that session and performing really, really poorly, it's just a case of I'll shift it to the next one, or I'll work around how it feels at the moment. There was no point in me going and trying to do like 20 times 40-second intervals when I wouldn't be able to perform them at the pace I wanted. There's no point. So I might as well just turn that into my easy run for the week and then just shift everything to the side a little bit. And I think that's the main thing that you've got to do sometimes is, my legs are sore while I do my upper body. Oh, do you know what? My upper body is really sore. I'm carrying fatigue from the last session. I'll do this. I've been climbing. My shoulder's a little bit jacked. It's like, so I'll focus on lower body. It's just moving things around. And I think this goes back to some of the stuff we said before, where have your program in place. And it's like, that is the basis of what you're doing. Have the order you want to do things in place. But if something comes up on the day or something comes up in the week that just has to shift those things, don't give up. Just move things a little bit, change the order on the day, or do you know what, drop that exercise. Your chest suddenly isn't going to deflate because you're doing a different exercise and so on. And I think as well, when it comes to an injury, even something small like you've done now, it's like you're always best to pay now rather than pay later. So take a couple of days off of using that shoulder now, so you know next week you can get back to 100% climbing or 90% climbing, as opposed to battle your way through it and then potentially really screw it up and put yourself out for 4 months or whatever it might be. But it's hard to do that. We all are stubborn when it comes to training, I think. Yeah,
I think it's like you were just saying, I think it's easier. Having a program makes it easier to then deviate from that program, if that makes sense. It's almost like deviating from programming. It's almost like a plus to having programming.
Yeah, it is.
If you have everything all sorted, you can then plan how you're going to work around that. I think it's one of those things. It's weird because I've had like sore wrists recently. I can work around that, but with this stuff, like it's weird because I don't know what it is, right? I have no idea. I'm not like a physio. I don't know what the hell this crap is. It's in my arm right now. You just kind of have to ask yourself questions like, okay, can I move it? Is one thing. Can I move it around? Okay, yes. Does it hurt when I do that? Yeah, it does. It does hurt, but I can move it around. Okay, that's a good thing. Could I train through it after it happened? Yeah, okay. That's a pretty good sign. I wasn't out for the count. So you just go, okay, now what do I need to do? It's like, okay, right. So I should just need to monitor it for the next 2 or 3 days, see if it improves. If I wake up tomorrow morning and it feels better, that's probably a good sign.
Yeah.
Just maybe don't push my shoulders through their paces through any extreme range of motion with weight. Okay, yeah, I do have a climbing session on Friday, but be smart about it. If it's maybe don't do the same boulder that you were doing that caused the problem in the first place again. Don't do that.
Exactly.
That's probably not a good idea. And then, yeah, okay, I've got the weekend where I'm just going to be working, not doing any training. So that's going to be a good chance for me to kick off. So, okay, I'll start next week and, go from there, really. Even if I have to, I've got like shoulder press on Monday, probably not going to do that. If I do, it'll probably be super, super light just to get the blood to the area, whatever. That's fine. Yeah. And just start breaking it down in that respect and then working forward. It doesn't have to be like overly complicated.
I 100% agree with that. And I think like when I put together my programming, so for example, now training for this Spartan race, what I always tend to do is I go backwards from the event, because with running, you obviously sort of taper down, and I know where I want to be a week out from the event, 2 weeks out, and so on. And I bring that back to my start point. So I kind of always do my training, my programming backwards. If I didn't have an end goal, then I would do it going forwards. But what I'll do is week on week, I'll look at what I want to achieve that week. So it's usually a case of one run at a recovery pace. And this is like the minimum for my running. It'll be one run at a recovery pace, one long run at about 60 to 70% race pace, and then a decent interval session. Now, normally I would want to get those long run Sunday, intervals Tuesday, recovery Thursday, and then there's obviously other little runs dotted in between and other sessions in between. But those are my key sessions I need to get in on those weeks, and I'll put them on that Tuesday, that Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday split. But if life gets in the way, if injuries get in the way, if something comes up, I'm not precious to the fact that my intervals have to be on the Tuesday. They could be on the Sunday. My long run could be on the Thursday, and so on. I could start to move things around. And the key thing for me is that over that 7-week cycle, 7-day cycle, I get those key workouts in and I achieve those key things. But my body doesn't know if I've done it on a Tuesday or a Thursday. It just knows that I've achieved that stimulus and that session. And I think that's the thing where sometimes people do just need to kind of have that little bit of fluidity a little bit. Like,
don't be overly precious about your program.
No. And that's exactly what you say is kind of there. That's the beauty of having that program. It's going, right, I know that I need to get, let's say someone's been given a PPL or push-pull leg split, and they're going to do it over 3 days. It's fine, but for whatever reason, I've woken up today and my legs are on absolute fire. Am I going to get benefit today going out and squatting poorly and not hitting the weights that I want to achieve? Or would I be better off today going, oh, do you know what, my upper body feels good, right, I'm going to do my push today and I'll do my legs on Thursday. Like, you're much better just playing with those kind of things. And when you get there, it's like, well, do you know what? I was going to do, like, again, I'm just going to make it up. But let's say it's like I'm going to do leg extensions followed by leg curls. It's like, well, someone's on the leg extensions at the moment. Perhaps I'll do my curls first. It's okay. Your legs aren't going to suddenly stop working because you switch that order.
Yeah, right.
And so you can absolutely do these things. Switch the day, switch the order. I think as well, just it makes it all mentally easier for us if we're not so rigid and tight about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've started doing like a separate. I've started doing in the gym, which is quite fun. I've started doing. I don't know, when you go in. Are you in the gym today?
I'll be in today. Yeah.
There's on the left, like immediately as you go in the door, I've got a gym quiz of the week, which I'm going to start doing now.
Nice.
And a workout of the week as well. So
okay.
Quite good. Yeah. Cool. So I thought it'd be funny because we had I was asked to sort of sort that board out, and I thought, a gym quiz would be quite good.
What's what doing for, like, the workouts, just like a sort of what like type thing?
Yeah. Kind of random really, because I'm gonna have to do like one a week indefinitely. So no one's gonna do them, but like okay, I kind of what I did, I put like a little workout, and then I just put a description as to what, like, why the workout is programmed the way it's programmed, and like blah 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 blah, what's it for, and all this kind of shit. It's a lower body power workout. It's the first one I decided to do for some reason. And then the gym quiz has got 3 questions. I think in next time though for that, I'm going to make like an easy question, a medium question, and a really hard question. But I'm hoping that not even if people don't know the answers, then will hopefully then they'll learn something, which would be quite good. Because there's some people in the gym are going to find the questions a piece of piss, and then some people are going to have absolutely no idea. So it's like I have to kind of find that like careful balance.
I think I think that's quite an important thing actually, is that like a lot of people go to the gym and like they have no idea what they're doing or why they're doing it or what the outcome of it's going to be, and things like that. And there'll still be kind of like people that have been going to the gym and seen great results after 5 years, 6 years or something like that, but they have no understanding of what they're doing. They're just going through the motions day in, day out, and
doing what other people have done. That's the thing. It's like some people, like some clients and stuff, like with PT, like they want to know why they're doing what they're doing, and some people just don't care. For me, I always like to be able to justify what it is I'm giving them. For people who are just starting out, like both the clients I've got at the moment, it's like I've put in, so we're doing, one of them has a dumbbell chest press, right? Dumbbell bench chest press, and the main reason I did it was honestly because so we could use different pieces of equipment. So we use these machines, cables, and dumbbells. That was kind of one of the main reasons. Like, okay, and like then we're using barbells as well, and like obviously there's there's a stability element there. I want to get a good pressing motion, etc., etc. But like also just to keep it like so we can use different pieces of equipment and use different stuff. That was one of the main reasons I did. It doesn't always have to be like something super scientific. It's just because fuck it, like
and I think that's just a good thing as well, like giving people the confidence to do that, because what we were going back to just now, where it's kind of like where you might have to switch things up, is like just giving somebody the confidence to go in there one day and the gym's exceptionally busy and all they can do is grab a set of, I don't know, 20 kilo dumbbells. It gives them the confidence to go, well, what could I do with this? It's like I could, I don't know, let's say it was a deadlift day and they couldn't get a bar. It's like, well, they could deadlift it, or is 20 kilos too light? Could they maybe then think about single leg deadlifts and so on like that? But having that confidence to go, well, I can do this on the machine, I can do this with the dumbbells, I can do this with the bars, and I can move that exercise to here and that kind of thing. I think that's a really important thing. And
it's good to have an arsenal. Like, it's good to build up an arsenal of exercises, to be honest, just in case like things don't go your way and you still want to kind of hit the muscle in to some degree, just to get it covered for that day.
When I first moved to Bristol, the place I was living then, it was like a big kind of apartment complex, and we had a communal gym there. And I just used that because it was literally a 30-second walk from my doorstep. And obviously I didn't need to pay for it. But all that gym had in there was dumbbells, 3 running machines, 2 rowers, and loads of dumbbells. And it was a good set of dumbbells, going from like literally 2.5s up to, I think, 40s. So it was a decent range. And for about a year and a half, that's all I did, was train purely with dumbbells, and just got really imaginative and really, really creative. But you can still do it. That's the thing. It's like, whereas now I do all of my training, I won't say all, but the bulk of my training is obviously with a barbell. Like, with just a little bit of creativity, a little bit of confidence, you can do so much with really, really limited equipment. And I think that's where it's really important to give people that confidence to do that.
Yeah, I think for me, I think I use free weight all aside from calf raises, which I use the Smith for, leg curls for the hammies, and then I think I use a cable for tricep push downs, and I think everything else is free weight, either barbell, trap bar, or dumbbell these days, to be fair.
I think I use for cables it would be triceps, so push downs. Biceps, I'll do curls on there. Sometimes I just need them, and I tend to do biceps just as a finisher after I've done something else, like weighted pull-ups or something like that. That's literally the only machine stuff I use. Everything else is just dumbbells or bars, predominantly bars. I don't know how I've just kind of ended up falling into that. It's just machines don't really do what I need most of the time. Like I just love a leg curl so much, though. I love that machine. Happy
just
that
such
it's
a
the
good
best
machine.
exercise.
Yeah, it's just the best hamstring exercise you can do, I think. Although I wish R1 had like the top handles. That would be
Yes.
good, like the ones where you can actually lean forward and lengthen your hamstring a little bit more, and then do the leg curl, because that would be way better. Because I also got the handles down the side, which isn't great.
Yeah, I tend to with that
yeah.
one is I don't tend to grab the handles and grip. I'll tend to put my hands above my head and make
Okay.
sure I'm just purely like really focused on using my hamstrings to do it, as opposed to it's the same with the leg extension. So although I don't use those machines very often, if I ever do have to use them, I tend to find that if I grab the handles down at the hips, it gives me that extra leverage. So I just really try to take that out of there and really focus on just purely using the muscle that I'm trying to use. And again, that works for me. I'm not saying it works for everyone, but you really have to focus on what you're doing. It's quite nice. So it's just a slight adjustment that really makes it quite nice. It gets heavy quick though. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it does get heavy quick. It's a brutal one. Both of them are pretty brutal to be fair. I find leg curl a bit easier than to progress on the leg extension, to be fair. Not that I ever use a leg extension, but just from feeling it, like, I don't know, a leg curl a little bit easier.
Nice.
If I had to choose another hamstring exercise, it'd probably be a stiff-legged deadlift. It works the muscle completely differently, but hamstrings are one of those things that's like really hard. Like those are the only two really that I can think of at the top of my head where you can actually properly isolate them. Maybe that, and then Nordics as well. But apart from that, there isn't obviously a lying leg curl.
Nordics are brilliant, but it obviously, when the gym's busy, for example, it takes a little bit of setting up and that kind of thing. And then people are just like, "What are you doing?" It almost raises more questions than it's worth.
Some people do. I do see some people doing them, to be fair.
Yeah,
they set them up on the lat pull down.
That's what I do. That's what I do, because someone was doing them the other day on the Smith machine, and I actually suggested, I was like, just use the lat pull down, just turn yourself around and go on there. The other thing, I definitely agree. Stiff leg deadlifts. That's what I'm using for my hams. That's all I'm using at the moment. I just think it's brilliant. Funnily enough, I got Kate the other day to do them for the first time. And at the time, she was just kind of like, "Oh, what is this doing?" Like, she just didn't feel that it was doing what she needed it to do. The next morning, it felt exactly what it was doing.
I think they're easier to teach than the RDL, to be fair. I think people find the RDL, because with the SLDL, you just lock your legs and hinge, where it's like with the RDL, you have to kind of focus on pushing your hips back, but not going into a squat. But also still hinging at the same time, so it's a little bit harder for people to get their head around an RDL, I think.
And I think doing the stiff leg, people can actually see the difference between the stiff leg and the deadlift, whereas I think a lot of people confuse RDLs and just a traditional deadlift. So I think it's a better one, that there's a more of a visual variation between the movements. So like you say, it's easier to teach because it is just a case of, like, say, keep those legs locked and
I think it helps at least with the starting position being the same, because obviously with the RDL you start with it in the end position, the deadlift end position. Like deadlift is about contraction, where as an RDL or an SLDL is about just lengthening. So generally my rule of thumb for most exercises is a 2-second lowering with a 1-second raise, but with stuff like that I would generally say, like, with those two, I'm always like, just make it 3 seconds, just milk the lengthening portion, because once you get into the contraction part of the muscle anyway, at the top end, there's no tension on the muscle anymore anyway, so it's all just about the lengthening part of it. So
it's such a nice feeling as you get more confident and you get deeper and deeper. Such a good movement.
And there's a lot of people throw some arbitrary metrics out there about depth, but just go as low as you feel the stretch and then come back up. Like, you don't have to go as low until the plate touches the floor, because everyone's body like dynamics are completely different, so you don't have to do like follow some weird arbitrary, you got to get the plate to touch the floor. Well, what if I'm not flexible enough for the plate to touch the floor?
What if I'm going to do that? Why would I risk injury over
exactly, or get to or sacrifice the technique of the exercise just so you can get the plate lower?
You'll see exactly that. People suddenly, they'll just put that little bend in their knees to touch the floor, and it's like, well, you've just undone what the
Yeah,
stimulus.
it's not an
is required.
SRDL anymore. It's more
Yeah.
like an RDL. So it's like, yeah. So just go as low
Completely agree.
as you feel the stretch in the muscle, and then that's fine. Come back up.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I love that.
Awesome.
Cool. I don't know what else I've got. I don't know if I've got anything else going on right now.
I had something that I wanted to bring up. I was some like some
Okay.
news this week. It was
Oh,
brilliant.
okay. Are we going to start doing news segments?
It's come to that. We're just going to start scraping the internet stuff. No, this was just something that I absolutely loved. And this was that a 96-year-old woman set her age group world record for the 5K. And I just thought this was amazing. I think, hang on, let me just. It's probably
are we sub 20? Are we sub 20?
No, it was 51 minutes and 9 seconds, beating the previous record by 4 minutes. I was just like,
I don't know why. Honestly, I assumed it was going to be.
It's going to be like a.
It's going to be really quick. Yeah.
I just love the 96. Fact that, like, there's still people out there at that age that are just. Do you know what? Yeah, let's go for these things. Still doing it. It doesn't matter if it takes an hour or if it takes, like you say, 17 minutes.
But the idea of a 96-year-old woman like rapidly speeding a 5K is hilarious.
That'd be amazing. I would love
that. Would be incredible. But still, fair play to her. Fair
on a Saturday morning at a park.
Yeah, just on the park,
smashing everybody,
bossing it like. Off the start line, she's just absolutely rapid, like Sonic the Hedgehog. Just like,
that'd be something. Yeah, absolutely.
So funny.
But I just love from this. Those two things that I just love from this. One is that it's like there's still active people out there that are almost a century old. I think that's just something amazing. Right. And then just the fact that somebody of that age is still just. I've got that. Like, there's no point in her being competitive anymore. Like, not disregarding the time or anything. Just. You're 96. You don't need to worry about these things anymore. Like you've done well, but the fact that it's still at 96, it's just like, I'm gonna get a world record. I'm gonna be the fastest.
I mean, I guess that argument could go the other way. I guess like there's no point. There's no point at any point in life to be doing that stuff. So, maybe 96 is actually there isn't a better time to be doing it. I guess in that respect, like why not?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Screw it.
Probably a smaller talent pool to fight against.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. I think half her demographic are in the care home. Or dead. I don't think many people make it to 96. Yeah, what year would she have been born then? So that would have been 73, 37 or something? 1937?
Yeah.
I think. Yes. Oh, no, 1927. Sorry, 1927. Jesus Christ.
Like,
my God,
she will have lived through at that point.
She was 12 when World War II started.
Yeah,
12. That's nuts.
It's just like you've lived through so much. It's like respect you anyway. So but again, on interviewing the woman, they were just kind of like, how have you sort of managed to do this? And it was just purely consistency. I just never stopped. I just accepted that as I got older, I got slower, and I worked with what I had. And I just thought it was such a good message. Just absolutely brilliantly. Just never let it go. And it goes back to I was reading some other things around sort of exercise and age and things like that. And they're just talking about the whole sort of thing where the kind of cognitive benefit of continuing exercise into your later years, and that is just absolutely massive. And there's been plenty of studies to show that once people sort of drop off from exercise, they start to see a decline in that kind of like cognitive function and things like that, because there's obviously less a stimulus for it. And I just thought it was absolutely amazing that she just managed to keep it going for that long and continue to break goals.
Well, yeah, you either use it or you lose it. It's as simple as that, really. Just
absolute proof of that. 96 though,
96, that's cool.
I'm so happy if I make it.
I wonder if there's like, I don't know. What is that age group then? Is that like
that age
90 and over, 90 and over, or 95 and over, or something?
95 to 99.
95 to 99. I wonder if there's any centenarians out there who've done a 5K or 5K time.
Amazing.
Maybe.
Just respect to them. The time is irrelevant, isn't it?
If you're the first one, just like take as long as you need.
Take all
just
day.
Have a world record for a bit. Yeah, just take all day with it. Get up, do 100 meters, sit back down, get up, do 100 meters, sit back down.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think that's
Awesome.
Good
That's
place
good
to
for
end
me,
on that
man.
one, I think. Let's do it. Right. Another one in the bank.